Hi everybody, Cheaply Chic. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Today I am sharing a journal with you that I created using a digital kit from Cara Brandon. She had asked me a while back if I would be interested in doing some design work with one of her digital kits, and I jumped at the opportunity. It was so much fun. Her kit was so beautiful. I have a video on my channel already where I had created some collage tags for this journal. So if you missed that and you would be interested in seeing that, I will link that in the description box down below, how I created those tags, and you will see them then here in this journal. This was so much fun. I haven't had the time or spent the time, made the time, whatever, to create a full-size journal in quite some time. So I am in love with this. I had so much fun with this, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing it as well. Cara Brandon Designs here on YouTube. You guys, I will link her channel down below, her Etsy shop down below, and I also have a coupon code for all of you watching this video who are part of my channel. And if you are interested in any of her digital kits, that coupon code will be in the description box down below. So be sure to use that when you go purchase your digital collections from her. The one that I worked with is Pretty Florals, which I will be sure to link down below as well, so you guys can check that out. Okay, so I really want to share this journal with you and show you guys how I use the kit and just what this journal looks like in general. I am so in love with this. It is just hard. It's hard to part with this. Okay, so getting started here on the cover, I have a wraparound closure with some old lace, and then here on that lace, here's the lace, so pretty. I just stitched some vintage buttons on there. I love those. So then you just unwrap it, and this is made out of part of a table linen. Let's see if I can open it up without messing everything up so you guys can get an idea. It was part of a table runner. This has all been hand stitched, not by me, but it has all been hand stitched, and it is so pretty. This journal is perfect for the spring, for the summer. It is perfect moving into the summer months. So there are 2 signatures in this journal, and I did a 5-hole pamphlet stitch because this cover is all fabric. I wanted to make sure it was good and secure. But you can see how this is the end of a table runner, and then I stitched some vintage lace there at the top. So if I can put this back together without causing a big to-do. Okay, so here on the front, I had this old vintage collar. Let me show you the rest of it because it's sitting right here. And it is so fine and detailed. I ended up cutting off a piece of this, the end of this collar, and that is what is the base here on the front. I have another piece of doily here that I just stitched to the top. I have a little piece of avocado dye doily, a little rosette from a different doily, and then this is a vintage stick pin that I had in my collection. And what I love about this, first of all, the colors and the little flower on there is beautiful, but it is a little locket. So if you really like tiny little detailed work, you can add something to the inside of that locket. And it will also come out if it gets in the way of your journaling. If it's too bulky, you can pop that pin out while you're using the journal. So that is the front of this. And then here on the spine, I added a piece of doily here. I added 2 vintage mother of pearl buttons. And then I have a binder clip that I just clipped this little piece of doily on here. I just thought it was cute. If you happen to get this journal, you can leave that there, or you can just add it somewhere in your journal. And then I created a tassel. I wanted it to be kind of delicate and match the rest of the journal here. So I only used laces and rickrack, pulling those colors out of that spring bouquet there. I added it to a ring. It's here on a clip, so you can take that off as well. And then I just stitched on a little tiny piece of doily with a mother of pearl button again. And I am loving it so much. So then here on the back, I just left it the way it is, other than that pearl button there. This is where that closure has been stitched in. So that is the cover. Then here on the side, before we get into the journal, I'll show you some of the charms I added. This was an old piece of earring that is dangling there, and then I wire wrapped some beads and added those to either some garment pins or a couple paper clips. So they all match and they've all been handmade. All right, so getting into the journal. The cover is made with that linen then, and with some, oh yeah, I'm all messing up my bows. I keep forgetting I tied those into little bows. This is some vintage bark cloth fabric that I have. And those are the back of the buttons. They have been knotted, but then I just made some little bows. If those come undone or they bug you, you can just snip that off and it'll be fine. I just thought they were cute that way. All right, so there are 2 signatures, and how many pages? I think that there are about 80 pages front and back, you know, counting each side of the paper in here. There's also a lot of writing space added throughout. Okay, here on the front, I used a piece of my heart paper. It had a little tear in the heart, so I stitched it up, and now it looks like a mended heart, which I think is fun. I also added one of my Polaroid embellishments that I've made here on my channel. It has some glassine on the back, so you can journal on that if you want, or you could just glue it down somewhere in the journal. I will link this video down below too for anyone who might be interested in checking that out. And then I just stitched on some ivy trim. So here is the first page that we see from Cara's kit, and I love how it has the lines on it. It blends so perfectly with the tea stain paper. And then here I had printed off some of those pages at a smaller size. I think these were 4x5 or something like that. So I printed those off so I could use them as pockets. I machine stitched it here, and then this is a tag that came in the kit. I just added some fabric scrap there to the top, and I've stitched all of these tags onto some tea stain paper. And I always love that because it helps not add as much bulk as a tag like this would. So I always love tags like this that come in the kits. So yes, a tea stained inventory tag and her tag. Then there's just some paper here, a guest book page here. On this side, I just stitched on some burlap and a piece of lace, and then there's one of those charms. Here on this page, this is a book page, and I added a coffee stained envelope and just stuck a tag in here. Did a little stamping. I created a little tuck spot out of this vintage music paper. And then in here I have her tag. Again, that beautiful same print lines you could write on. And then just some old tea stained computer paper. You can see the stitching here. And then here is a little vintage card. This actually comes from my husband's grandmother. They were missionaries in Africa. Her father was back in the 1920s. I have so much, you guys. I have so much I'm going to be making my own journal or 2 out of with some of the things I have, so I don't mind sharing some of them. In fact, I need to share some of them. But I just love that print, and I think that it matches the kit beautifully too. All right, so again, this is a book page. Coffee dyed grungy book page there. Here's another page from the kit, and it's so pretty. Here I just stuck a music envelope that I had red cabbage dyed, I think. I made these a while ago. So that's just fun, just stuck in there. Here is an element from her kit as well. This is a little envelope that she included in the kit, and it has these little cards. They are so pretty. So I just did some stitching on there, made the envelope, and then a little bit of paper piecing here on the front with another piece from her kit and some music paper. And then machine stitching there down the side, a little stamping, and then this is one of the tags that I created in the previous video using collage techniques, and then some pieces from her kit as well. And this is on a file folder tag with some tea stain paper. So those are just clipped here on this page. A coffee stained gin rummy score sheet. Let's see, let me pull this out without messing everything up. Here I did some more stitching, a little stamping here at the bottom, and then I just made this envelope with some more, music paper in the background. This is another journaling card from the kit, and then her little label here. And then here's the center of the signature. I used more of her digital paper to make the center tuck spot. I added some vintage ledger, more machine stitching down the sides here, and then I just have a little piece of handmade paper tucked in here. This is a journaling card that I created a while ago, decoupaging some napkins with some tea stain paper on the back, and then just some scrap computer paper. And then here on the strings, I left them a little long. They don't dangle outside of the journal. But if you don't like them dangling outside of the book at all, feel free to just cut them off and use them somewhere else. But I just added some vintage buttons there to the strings. So that envelope just clips there. And then here on this page, more stitching, lots of stitching, some stamping here, and then I used this coffee filter to create a little tuck spot. So in it, there are two little pockets here that I've stitched together. I added two of her tags again from her kit. Tea stain paper on the back. I just stitched them together. And then in this tiny little pocket here, I just added a couple coffee stained tags. Other side of that gin rummy sheet, made a belly band out of one of her digital papers again, and I just tucked a vintage envelope here in the back. You could tuck something away in. I cannot read the date on there. 1949. 1949. Very fun. Okay, some more stitching here. Here's another one of her beautiful digital papers from the kit. I love it. That grungy coffee dyed notebook paper. Here's that book page I added. Stamping and stitching. Here I stitched in a piece of a napkin. I had cut the napkin, I made a little tuck spot out of it, added some vintage lace, a beautiful doily that my friend Rhonda made me. Thank you so much for those, Rhonda, and it is gorgeous in this journal. Here's another one of those dangles that I made, and then in it I just have a vintage pink envelope and a piece of older stationery as well. The other side of that guest book paper, notebook paper. Here, this is the other side of that paper out of the kit. I made a pocket out of some vintage music, and I added one of her journaling cards to the front of that. Just stuck a coffee dyed manila tag in there, and another one of her beautiful tags from the kit. Here I used a piece of vintage sheet. I thought those roses were perfect. So then there is the page. Here's the back side of that heart paper. It too had a little tear, which I just mended with some thread. Added some vintage lace there on the side. And then this is the center of the book. Everything lays very flat, even though it is full of ephemera. Well, okay, if you're working in the beginning, you might want to pull out some of this. But yes, so tucked here in the middle, I have this little envelope I made out of another linen. This is a very old linen. So I stitched some tea stain paper on it. So I'll show you that in a minute. But here I just added a little binder clip to keep it closed, and I made another little dangle out of this pretty shell heart. So then here is the linen envelope. I stitched some coffee dyed paper there. Just added a little stitching for fun. And it's it is a very old piece, but it is so pretty. I thought the flowers were perfect. So in here, I just have tucked some things you can use in the journal. I have a couple of her little page flags from the kit I didn't use. Here you can see the coffee stain. There is a coffee stain glassine envelope, a vintage library card and pocket. I tend to hoard those. A coffee stained coin envelope, a coffee stained little glass, well, windowed envelope, and then a couple of the journaling cards out of the kit. So you can use those somewhere in the journal. This little pocket here would be great if you're working in the journal and adding photos. You could store your little photos from your Canon selfie or whatever it is you use, or you could just stick ephemera in it, or you could just stick a letter in it. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making that. So that just sits here in the center. And then moving into the last signature, this again is another linen. And what I have done is wrapped it around the first whole sheet of paper. So first here is where that earring is safety pinned on, but the linen itself covers the whole side of this piece of paper, wrapping around to the back side where I stitched it down, and it has a little pocket there. So then here it's just pure linen. If you want to safety pin some things onto this, that would be adorable. You could glue something onto that, or you could just leave it as is. You can see here that I safety pinned there. I've stitched it down pretty securely onto this piece of paper. And then I made a little pocket out of this side. So here we just have a coffee stained tag and a old bingo card that I turned into a journaling tag. And I just love, again, just the hand stitching on that piece of linen. So here we have a grungy piece of notebook paper that I coffee stained. I added an old calling card here. Need to get my, I could probably read it now, but I need to get my reading glasses on for that. So that one is super pretty. Here is my favorite page out of the kit. I love this page so much. So yes, beautiful, beautiful paper from the kit. And then some more of that notebook paper. Here's a coffee stained piece of calendar planner paper. Here I just added a couple pieces of old lace, and one of those Polaroid embellishments that I made has just been glued down there. Here I used another paper from the kit and made a tuck spot, and here's one of her lovely tags. I just added a little piece of lace and doily there at the top with another manila tag. Another vintage book page here. Here is an envelope that I added to this page. On this clip, on this paper clip is another bead dangle. So I just did some stamping and stitching, and then this is full of tags. Here is one of the journaling cards from the kit, just a white tag there. Another couple little elements from the kit. There's another tag. And some of her little ticket pieces, I just tucked them in here. These are all from the kit, ready for you to add. There's a couple more tags from the kit. And then in this back pocket are 2 of the larger tags. So lots of tags and lots of journaling space. These have some old fabric added to the tops there. And then this just clips closed. Here's another one of those pages that I shrunk down to make a pocket, and in it I have tucked just a coffee dyed Rolodex card and another journaling card that I had made at one point. This has some decoupaged tea paper and some napkin, a little stamping. I thought it matched beautifully. Some of my lace paper that I had dyed, another one of her envelopes. I printed off a couple of them, layered some more of her paper with the music paper, and here's her pretty envelope with the journaling card on the inside. And on this page, I added some more of that vintage lace, and then I have a little glassine bag folded up here into a double pocket. Added a little piece of doily there to her journaling tag. And then here in the front, I just added some coffee stained tags. This brown craft tag that I just tied a little piece of coffee stained tea paper thing, whatever those are called. Little tea paper, I don't know. Here's the other page of that beautiful paper. Both of those, and this whole paper is just my favorite piece. Here I have another piece of my heart paper that has some fun coloring to it. And then here in the center of this signature, I used one of those smaller pages that I had shrunk down and cut it off, made a little tuck spot there, some vintage music. And then I just have a coffee stained guest check tucked in here, a vintage library card catalog card. Oh my gosh, it's a tongue twister. Another, just a coffee stained little mini CD case, and an old what are they called? First edition envelopes from 1955. I think I always call it that, and it's not what it's called. I don't know. And then here I have some buttons tied to these strings as well. Very pretty vintage buttons. The other side of that lovely paper. Here I used one of the bingo cards. This was a piece of ephemera in the kit, and I just created a tuck spot out of it, added some stamping and stitching, and I just added a coffee dyed inventory tag, another piece of that handmade paper. There's the other side of that doily paper. And then here I made a little tuck spot out of the music paper, added another shrunken down piece of paper. I made some that were like wallet size, how you can pick photo sizes on your printer. That's what that is. And then I tucked in a vintage piece of stationery note card that I thought matched the kit. So then here's another one of those little bead dangles. And then here is another tag that I made in the last video. Here I just added a piece of that vintage sheet again with that really pretty rose pattern. And here's the gorgeous piece from the kit, the bingo card, these little page flags, and the little label are all from the kit. And I just layered it onto some old book page and added some stenciling there to the top. There's some stamping on that page. The other side of that book page, more stamping and stitching. This is an old Gwen Frostic. I love Gwen Frostic. If you guys have heard me talk about her before, she is an artist back in the day in my area, so I thought that was beautiful and it matched the kit well. So then here is that, just coffee dyed papers, another beautiful page from the kit. And then here's that grungy notebook paper. Here I used the cover of an old music book that I had. I always save them and I forget to use them. So I made a tuck spot out of that and just added the last tag that we created in that video using elements from the kit. So then here on the back, there is that linen pocket, and I just tucked some things in here. There's a mini CD sleeve again with some old stamps and a vintage bus ticket in there. And then just a coffee dyed fun glassine bag. And then there's the back cover, and again with that little bow from where the button is sewn on. So that is the journal, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed seeing everything. I had so much fun making this, and thank you, Cara, again for asking me to design with your kit. It was gorgeous and so much fun and so inspiring. This whole journal happened around those papers. So I just want to say thank you so much. So first, you guys, go check out Cara, go check out her channel, check out her Etsy shop, and don't forget to write down that coupon code so you can purchase some of her beautiful kits if you're interested. If you're interested in this journal, I will have it listed in my Etsy shop as well. So that link will be down below, as well as the links to those couple of projects I mentioned as well. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button if you did enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.